Hey there. So I was thinking that it might be a good idea to shoot a really brief video going over some of the very basic theory for music on a piano. And the piano is the best instrument to learn theory on because it's so visual and it's such a good representation of the notes. And I figure why not, since you're going to have to do theory anyway, get over these notes like right away. Just get them off the plate so you're always going to know what you're playing. Really simple. So I thought I would take you through the absolute basic of the piano. You probably already know some of this, so whatever I'm covering that's a repeat for you, you can just take a nap. So we're gonna start with middle C, because that's sort of, they often call it the middle of the piano, but it's actually just, the middle of the middle C's of all the C's on the piano. Notes on a piano are represented by the letters A through G, and then for some reason it cycles back to A. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then it goes back to A. It does that because of acoustics issues that I'm not going to get into. It's science, but basically by the time you've divided an octave up into 7 positions, you're back to basically half the frequency of where you started, and so the sound is the same, and so you just call it the same note. You don't have to know that. But the point is, notes are A through G, and then the, relative pluses and sharps and flats. So if you look on a piano keyboard, you'll notice that there are white keys and there are black keys because we have civil rights, right? And the black keys, if you look, just kind of like step back and look at it like full picture, you'll notice that there's groups of 2s and groups of 3s, okay? There's the 2, there's the 3, there's the 2, there's the 3. And that's all there is, right? There's only 2 clusters of black notes, the 2 and the 3. The first thing that you should learn, that you should always remember, is that to find the key of C is always the white key right beneath the group of 2 black notes. Not the 3, but the 2. The very next to the left white key, next to the left of the 2, is C. So here's the 2, this is C. Here's the 2 black notes grouping, here's the C. Here's the 2, here's the C. Okay? That's how you find the key of C on any piano, on any keyboard, everywhere, as long as it's, a Western tonal piano. So I've gone ahead and marked these just for the sake of showing you a scale. And as you can see, here is C. It is the white key that's to the very left of the group of 2 black keys. Now, the group of 3, the very left white, the note to the very left of the group of 3 is F. And again, that's true anywhere on the keyboard. So if you look at the group of 3 black notes, you look to the very left of that, the first white key to the left is F. Okay? But we're going to start with C. We're starting with C because the C scale is the easiest because it has no sharps or flats, which means you don't have to go to any black notes in order to play the scale. So now you know how to find C. Take a moment and find C on your keyboard. Did you do it? Good. And you can find any C you want. But we're going to start here with this, which they call middle C, because it's roughly in the middle of the entire piano. This is your standard 88 note. I'm zoomed in a little so you can't see it, but that's it. So here's C. Going up the alphabet, obviously the next key up is going to be D, and that's its neighbor. And the next up is going to be E, right? A, B, C, D, E, then F, then G, then A, because now what? We go up to G and then we start over. So yeah, it's kind of, we could have done this in A if we wanted to, but that's a minor scale and minor scales are sad. And this is a happy lesson. So we're going to start with the C scale. So here's C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Okay? So yeah, C, D, E, F, G, and then A always follows G when you're going up because it goes A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then it starts over. So if you're going up, wherever you're starting, it doesn't matter where, and you get to G and you keep going up, A is always the next. It just starts over. So once again, C, D, E, F, G, and it starts over, A, B, C, And of course, if we kept going, it would be D, E, F, G. It would be a mirror of this. Okay, so that's basically it. Now, in addition to writing the notes on the keys, as you can see, I've also written numbers that correspond to each note. The reason I did this is because I want you to start thinking about what we call scale degrees. And the reason I want you to start thinking about that is because of the next lesson, which is going to be intervals. A scale is simply all the notes, the tonal notes anyway, but you don't have to worry about that. Just basically the 7 notes between a key and its representative key octave, either up or down. That's what a scale is. So all the notes in between of that key with its key signature is the scale. And this is the scale of C. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. This and this are exactly the same note. That's why to your ear, it sounds really clean, and that's called a unison because they're actually the same note. In fact, this is a pitch. This is actual, like a frequency, the number of cycles of the sound wave, punching through the air at 1 per second. And this key is that same amount divided by 2. So it's literally half the number of cycles. That's why they sound so clear. So that's an octave. Same note, but they're separated by the scale, which is the 7 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And there's C. So whatever key you're in, and today we're in the key of C, the key that is the key you're in, which is C, and the first key is always the 1. And that makes sense because that's where you're starting. You start with number 1. So here we are, number 1. So C is 1 in the scale of C. The next note, D, is going to be 2 because we're going to count 1, 2. The next note is E, and that's 3 because we're going to count 1, 2, 3. You're starting to hear Sound of Music, right? Do, re, mi. And that is a study which is called solfege, where you use these terminologies to represent these pitches. We're just going to stick with the numbers for now. 1, 2, 3, and if you keep counting, you get the idea. All you have to do is count using your first note as 1 and including it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's how you find a scale degree. You start with your first note, which is called the root. Okay, if you're in the key of C, then C is your root, and it's also 1. It's the first scale degree. So you start with your root and you count, and that's how you find your scale degree. That's really important to know because later on when you start building chords, chords are made up of keys in a scale. And one of the easiest ways to learn them is to know the scale degrees that make up the chord. For example, the most famous major triad, which is that, is made up of 1, 3, and 5. So you'll see a 1, 3, 5 triad, very often. And there are a lot of others too. But this is the very, very basic, okay? Here's your scale, which is C, D, E, F, G, and then it starts over A, B, C. The C's are the same note. The notes are also represented by scale degrees, and the scale degrees are counted from your root, which is the first note. So the last thing I'll show you is, not really show you, but just to take you through, we will kind of solidify that C is our root and it's the 1. D is the 2, it's the second scale degree. E is 3, it's the third scale degree. F is the 4th. G is the 5th. A is the 6th. And B is the 7th. When you get to this C, you are back at the root again. You can also call it the octave because relative to this, it's an octave away. But if we kept going, now that's the new root essentially, right? It doesn't matter because they're the same note. As long as they're the same note, you're pretty much free to call it the root or the octave or C or the tone, the tonal center or the scale, the key of C. So that's basically it. Now you know all the white notes. There are literally no other white notes on this piano. They are all C, D, E, F, G, A, or B because it just loops over and it covers the entire piano. And we will get to the black notes later. You don't really need to know them right now, not until you've really solidified these notes and their scale degrees. Very, very important. Once you get that in there and you got it memorized to where you can take this tape off and you can look at the notes and you can know what note it is and what scale degree it is, then you can go to the next lesson. So that's it. So rewatch this as much as you want. I'm going to take these off and, or maybe I'll leave them on for now if I do another lesson. So yeah, call or email if you have any questions. Okay.